Good Lord, that took forever to go live. Good morning, everyone. It is Social Surge. Just waiting to go live on the gram, taking a little bit. Oh my goodness. Oh, it is Tuesday. Last Tuesday of the month. Oh, good morning. I'm Mo Regalado. Over there is my ride or die, my boo. What the heck?
Good
Hector
morning.
Regalado.
Good morning, everybody.
Coming to you live from Spokane, Washington.
Where?
And today we are actually finishing up the conversation that we started last Tuesday. Just as a programming note, I want to remind you guys that on Thursday, we will have the one and only Coy Davidson, the original, the OG, who started doing stuff, blog posts and social, long before it became the fad. We'll be talking about Coy, about his journey, and about his experience at CREI Summit. So hopefully you guys can join us on Thursday morning for that conversation. All right, what the heck? So last Tuesday, we actually didn't get to finish the entire conversation that we had been planning, which the whole conversation was about AI changing how social media is done. And really, I mean, really it was about discoverability, searchability, and indexability with your social content.
Right.
And we went through the do's and don'ts. We talked about what's working on social and you know what you shouldn't be doing. Let's see.
A little of the do's and don'ts, yeah.
Yep. And so we talked about, we talked about people posting constantly, growing followers, chasing engagement, trying to go viral. And while those things sometimes might create attention, it doesn't automatically mean that it creates trust, authority, or business.
Right.
The biggest change that AI has made to the social scene, God, that sounds stupid, is the fact that AI is now getting content and indexing it, right? It's getting content and pulling it in. And what becomes less important, I think, is your follower count. And what is more important is how you are showing up online as an authority, as a subject matter expert. And while attention may introduce you, authority is what gives people a reason to trust you.
Right. And the whole thing is to build trust, right? You're not just putting out content. You're not just writing, whether it's on a LinkedIn article or blog post. The whole purpose of that is to show how you've done work or how deals have gone through or whatever the case may be, but it's showing your authority in what you're doing.
Right. And now with, depending on which platform you're on, especially if we're talking about LinkedIn with its language learning model algorithm. So if you're unaware, LinkedIn's algorithm is an LLM. So it is pulling in all types of data points, data sets, data information as to how your content gets shared, right? And then when we talk about agentic search is not just, it's not like SEO. So we last week we talked about search engine optimization, agentic engine optimization or answer engine optimization, and then GEO, which I'm now forgetting what GEO stands for, generative engine optimization. So when we're talking about agentic search and being found on those answer engines, it's pulling information from socials, it's pulling information from your website, it's pulling information from earned media. So there's these signals that it's getting across. And I would say there's obviously some sort of arithmetic that goes along with that, where
Yeah,
the more you have, the more it's like, oh, okay, so this person here, when somebody is searching for industrial San Diego, has a score of 5, but this person here in industrial San Diego has a score of 100. Okay, we're going to put the guy with the score of 100 before the guy with the score of 5, because this guy has been talked about in publications, has been mentioned in press releases, has a website that has his name, is on social media, and has all this authority stuff that goes across the board. And so that's what's happening when we're talking about agentic search and your socials. There's 3 layers of discoverability. So we already mentioned them: SEO, which is your search engine optimization, which is still valuable. Don't
exactly.
listen. My ears plugged up really bad, like all of a sudden, just boom. This is a little conversation between Mr. What the Heck and I. I'm just letting him know if I keep touching my ears, it's because they filled up, like boom. So I feel like I'm hearing you through a tunnel. Anyway, I guess I'm getting some meds when we get some allergy meds or something when we get off. But okay, so there's SEO is still very valuable, right? So you still have
Yes.
to think about search engines. Interesting with Google and Gemini being inclusive now, like they're together, they're married, they're having babies. So
Right. So one is pulling from the other both ways, right? So SEO is definitely still, it's not dead.
no,
Some people might claim, oh, you're not getting as much traction. It all depends on how you structure your SEO on your website, right?
right,
Um, even before AI, SEO was still, you had to structure it correctly. You had to use the right keywords. You had to use it, you had to do your research. It hasn't gone away.
no,
That is still very important. You need to do that, as you're saying that Google, using its AI model, but it's also still using its search engine.
yep,
So it's pulling from both. It's not one or the other. It is the combination of the two, and that's going to get you the best rankings.
right. Yeah, I mean it's still you still have to, if you have a website and you haven't updated it in the last
Oh,
year.
ugh. I would say even more current, especially because of the fact that the AIs are now searching websites. As every new model comes out of AI, it gets better. Their search capabilities improve, and in doing so, if you haven't looked at your website, you should always keep it up and current. Every couple of months, 3 months, I would say quarterly, right? Go in there, look at it, change out some keywords, change out your FAQs, adjust it a little bit so that information on your site is up to date. And you're going to use tools like Answer the Public,
Mm,
and you're going to go in there and find out what are the most, what kind of questions people are asking in your industry, your specific industry,
right.
in your specific area. I mean, dial it in as much as you possibly can, so that you get the best questions and answers that you can then use on your website.
Right. So it's still, SEO is still important. Don't let, you'll see a bunch of BS across multiple channels and like SEO is dead, and it's not. It's just now you have to actually pay more attention to it than you used to. Depending on your thought process. Like I worked for a company before where we had an SEO department, and literally every single day, their whole, like 3 of the people in the department, their whole job was to go code keywords.
Hmm.
That was their entire job. Every blog post, all this stuff. So depending on how you look at it, it's never been dead. Um, we have answer engine optimization. AEO helps your content become a direct answer to a question. So this, we talk about this with LinkedIn articles, or clear questions, concise answers, useful headings, FAQs. You have to have structured information. And then GEO is your generative engine optimization. This helps generative AI systems understand, evaluate, and potentially reference your content or your expertise when creating an answer. So when we talk about authority, we talk about, thought leadership, reputable citations, videos and transcripts, huge, all of it's third-party mentions. This is where, we're talking about all this stuff works together for you to be able to be found. So here's the very simple version. SEO helps people find your content. AEO helps your content answer the question. And GEO helps AI understand why your expertise belongs, right?
Right.
Why are you a person to listen to? It's not three separate things working, disparately. They're all working together. And you need to remember that, because discoverability is no longer about ranking in one place. It's being understood across an entire marketing ecosystem. So when we talk about social, and we talk about websites, and we talk about landing pages, and your CRM, and your your email marketing, it all comes into play. And then again, how are you being discussed outside of those? Are you getting earned media? Are you doing something as simple as going to a website called Haro, Haro, Help a Reporter Out? You can sign up for free. You can pay for it. It's up to you. It depends on how much time you want to spend. But, and I think they come out in the morning and the afternoon. And so they need people to respond right away. So you can submit those responses and then potentially get mentioned in a magazine or an article or whatever. It's good if you want to start putting your name out there. It's also another reason why to sign up for lists. I know some people think that, some of the lists that are out there are kind of dumb, but if you have major publications mentioning you, we just had the Globe Street Women of Influence list that came out. We have CREI Summit with their lists coming out. There's other organizations and companies that have lists. Try to get on those lists. It's important, because what it does is that is another authority signal that you are a person to listen to. So it all comes into play, and it's kind of interesting that it's all happening now, because before it was kind of all over the place, right? And now with agentic search pulling in all of this data, and people trusting it. That's the other thing.
There's a big trust thing, right? Now that when they, and I think we talked about this either on another show or between us about the commercial about the French model, right?
Oh, yeah.
Who's your date? Oh, he's a French model. Where'd you find him? On the internet. So that must be true.
It must be true. If it's on the internet, it must be true.
And we used to make fun of it a lot, right? We used to have a lot of fun about that. If it's on the internet, it must be true. Well, people really put their trust, and that's a big one, right? They put their trust in AI like almost immediately. This is one of those few products that have come out recently that grabbed people's attentions and solidified really trust.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they've had their issues, you have ChatGPT that hallucinates like crazy, right?
And lies. That's one of the things that, just on a little side note for me, it's like you need to constantly ask your AI if the information that they're providing is you have to just ask questions of it. Like after it produces a result for you, is this the best whatever, or are we missing something? Is there some way that we can get this point across better? and you have to challenge it. If you don't challenge it, it's just going to tell you what you want to hear. And that's like, I know somebody who was using AI to consult for legal things,
Mm,
and the
they're not
information that
lawyers.
they were providing was it's fine, but like I kept telling the person, I was like, okay, but your AI wants to agree with you and tell you what you want to hear, and I'm telling you right now that I do not think that this is going to go anywhere. Um, and I was correct, but it
Mm.
was because the AI was trying to appease the person who was, do we have a case? Oh, yes, you have a
Of course you
case.
do.
Of course you do. And then,
Yeah,
pulling up and I'm like, okay, have you researched to see if these cases are actual, like, are they actual cases or is it hallucinating?
legitimate. Right. I mean, just recently, I was working on a project in Gemini, and so picked on OpenAI for a little bit, right? Uh, Gemini doesn't give you the full info either. You got to question it. You have to know what you're looking for, what you're asking for, have an idea, right? If it provides you links, click on those links, check out those links, and make sure that they actually go somewhere. Because sometimes those links are not real links either.
Yep.
So it's a matter of it's
It's put
not
our
just
it's put our website in incorrectly,
yeah, no, it
right?
does.
Like, I'm like,
Yeah,
so I go and because I am that person. I click the link and I'm like, where the hell does this go? Like, where is this going? And it's like, this site does not exist. Well, no shit, it doesn't exist because that's not my that's
right.
not my website.
So I've come to my normal practice is I'll start on one of the AIs, and then I'll do the same prompt, same everything. I'll go to another AI, and I'll compare the two and see, okay, where's the differences here? Am I getting the same information? Obviously, it's not going to be written the same. Obviously, it's not going to be word for word, line for line. But is it similar? Similar
Right.
enough that I can say, oh yeah, this is the right information. Um, but you also have to pick the right AI when you're doing your research, right? I would rather go to Perplexity, where that AI provides you cited,
Yep. Cited
you
source
know,
material.
cited source materials, and then you can go through that cited information and then build out your prompt for either Gemini,
Mm,
Chat, or Claude, right? Um, people are using what's it called? Uh, I'm going blank right here. But basically, they're building
Claude.
no, they're building their second brain, and this could be used on any of the AIs, right? And they're putting in their information, their material into this brain, and the AI is pulling from this, and that's a great way to do it. But again, when you don't have that information, right, and you're doing research, try not to focus on one AI only. Use
Yep.
multiple AIs to try to catch them in a lie. Honestly, because you don't know for sure until you start asking questions. Challenge the AI a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. So you use so I switch between Claude and Chat mostly. Those are the two that I go back and forth. Honestly, I cannot stand Gemini. Gemini, I've said it before. The only reason I use Gemini is because it's in my Chrome browser. I use it for alt text, for images. I use it for comma separated keywords for blog posts. I use it for focus keyword, and I use it for snippet for whatever blog post. That's literally what I use Gemini for, because whether it's me trying to create a graphic or an image in Gemini or anything else, I just don't like it. I don't like the way it sounds. So Gemini is not, I'm not a Gemini fan. However, I do flip between Claude and Chat. James Milner's joined us over on the gram. James, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks for being there. So we talked about, we just did a we just did a 20-minute recap of what we talked about before, because it was a lot of information. And so let's talk about how AI is changing content creation.
Okay.
AI really should remove repetitive work.
Yeah.
It should help with topic development and research and outlining. My favorite thing to do with AI is take transcriptions from podcasts and get ideas and I mean, I don't know about you. I don't have time to sit down and listen to a 50-minute podcast to pull content from. So it's like, okay, what's the most impactful comment? Now, that's not saying that I don't go through the podcast and actually like, okay, this is this person speaking, this is this person speaking, because that has to happen. You have to have that. Good morning, Brent Pennington, joining us over on the gram. But it AI should help you speed up the parts that normally would slow you down. It should help you organize your thoughts. It should help you find gaps. It should help you turn content. We talk about the content waterfall system all the time. Multiple pieces of content from one long form piece, right? What it should not do and what you should never do is blindly let AI create content for you that has an opinion or a thought or some type of idea that you would never actually come up with, or not even come up with, but like, if it's not something that you would say, like, you shouldn't be taking that AI and posting like that content, right? I think that's some of the biggest issues is with AI content, and why people are so against AI slop is because it is sloppy. It isn't your voice. It isn't your tone. It isn't how you actually would present yourself. And as much as I love AI, it does give lazy people the opportunity to create content that is still lazy, right? And the problem with that lazy content is we don't pay attention to it. So you're just making a lot of noise.
True.
I think AI should help you if you haven't done this before. If you haven't done some sort of authenticity doc, you should have your AI interview you so that it gets your voice, tone, and style.
Definitely. That should be one of the first things that you do when you start setting up your AI, right? You should have it, again, interview you and make it as lengthy as it possibly can, right? Don't just answer like 3, 4, 5 questions and you're like, ooh, done. There are so many places on the internet that you can get questions that you can even put into into the AI and say, hey, here's some questions, review these questions, and then come up with additional questions to help me dial in my voice, dial in my tone, my style, and provide it documents. You don't just have it interview you and then expect it to be good to go. You need to have your own documents in that.
You have to have your sources. You have to have your That's okay, DB. We're here. It could be a transcript from a recorded conversation. It could be questions from clients, meeting notes, a podcast that you've been on, a market report that you've done, a case study, any kind of personal experience. All of that information should be included in your AI, whether it's ChatGPT, whether it's GEMS, whether it's, what are they, projects on Claude, I think is what they're called.
Yes.
You need to put that in personal information. It needs examples of what you've done. And then you need to ask AI to organize, not invent. AI should not be inventing your personality.
No.
that could actually be an entire conversation all on its own. But, what are, ask like, okay, I was on this podcast. These are the things that we covered. Analyze the transcript and tell me some of the most impactful things that I said. What are the recurring themes of this? Where are there gaps in the content? And then you need to repurpose all of that content strategically, right?
Mm.
When we're talking about omnipresence, being across multiple platforms, if nothing, if the two platforms that I personally think that you need to be on in 2026 is LinkedIn and YouTube. LinkedIn and YouTube. And there's a reason behind that. And the reason is that we know that agentic search, we know that the answer engines are going to those two resources and pulling that information from. So
Yes.
if nothing else, LinkedIn and YouTube, it's great. I love all the other platforms. I think X is great. I'm a big fan of X. I always have been, but you need to think about how your content's going to be able to get found. It's about discoverability, searchability, and indexability. DB says, I always provide sources and I never accept any AI if it doesn't provide the source. So much so that if you tell me that there's no source, then I add that. Right, exactly. You're backing up exactly what you said you were going to do. And that's important. A lot of people are too lazy to do that. And so they just take what AI is. It's that trust factor. They're trusting that AI has given them the information. Well, you need to question it. You need to ask about it. Is this correct? AI should really help you just multiply your expertise. It shouldn't be manufacturing it for you at all.
No, not at all. It should be taken from what you've done. Again, people are using second brains. Some people are using like Notebook, but Obsidian, that's the one I was trying to remember.
I haven't even heard of that one.
Obsidian is its own platform, but it connects to the AIs, and you basically put all your documents in it, and it helps the AIs because it creates links to similar information. So if it's one file and you have some information here, but there's another file that has some other type of information that's very similar, or it connects to the two, it'll connect these things. And so it builds out this basically grid that it's grabbing this information from, and it reduces the time for the AI to find that information. But it is your information. It is built on your stuff, right?
Right.
So it is a good way to use your AI and not be so flaky, I guess.
Are you gonna be doing that? Are you gonna be building something like that?
I'm building it right now, yes.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, that's cool. I learned something new. How much I pay attention. Oh, I don't know. And what I do, I can't afford not to be able to. That's right. Yeah. So, I mean, in like DB's case, like I'm sure like he's had to, here's an interesting thing to think about. I work with a company that does hotel valuations. We have to be very careful about what we say on social media because the gentleman that I work with has to go do depositions. And anything that he puts out on social media can be used against him in a court of law. So think about that. Like if you're ever called to go into court, like how is your social presence and the things that you're saying if you're using AI content? Is it factual? Is it correct? Can it be supported? Right? Like, I mean, these are some of the questions that we need to start asking ourselves. Like if I have to go do a deposition, not that I don't think I ever would, knock on wood. Are my claims on social, like, can I support them? Are they factual? All that stuff. So just as a little note of to keep in mind.
So the information should be AI friendly, right? The content that you develop should be AI friendly. It's not, and by that, it's not, the content that you're putting out should be written for is not conscious. It's not content written for robots. It's content that's clear enough for both people and machines to understand. Right? It's so that it can find the information, like you're saying, and be able to be used across whatever people are searching for.
Right. DB's talking about can and will be used against you in a court of law. And that's why he doesn't put out market reports. I mean, it's something to think about. Like if you, it's just another layer that people I don't think are aware of. But I mean, it happens to athletes all the time. If you look at stuff that they posted in 2009 on X versus now it's 2026, and they're trying to go back and scrub all of the things that they've said. Y'all know that my favorite saying is screenshots live forever. So, you know, you have to be aware of some of this stuff. It's like why when I got fired, I didn't delete the comment that I made, because of the fact that I know that screenshots live forever. It doesn't matter if I try to go and erase it. It is already still out there. So when I say something on social media, I know there's a probability that it can be screenshot. And am I willing to say that to back it up?
Yes.
I think that's a valid question that everybody should. Are you willing to back up what you're saying? Right? There's a lot of shit talkers. Are you willing to back up what you say if you get called to defend it?
Yes.
If anyone ever says things are great during a period of time while in court or deposition or arbitration, the other side will use it 100%. 100%. Yes.
Very true.
So AI friendly content is you need to make sure that it is you don't want vague, right? You want stuff that is clear and consistent, and that you have a subject, you know your audience, and you can explain your value proposition in a way that makes sense to people and that makes sense to AI. So discoverable content. So we've got a couple of characteristics. You need to have clear headlines, specific topics, direct answers, real examples, case studies, statistics and source attribution, which seems to be what we've been talking about, original insights, in structured formatting. So here's the thing. It's like, I know people complain about AI slop, but if you look at how AI will formulate answers or formulate content, it does a lot of this stuff automatically. The challenge is that people aren't, I want to say you're not smart enough, but you're not smart enough to go and change it and adjust it and make sure that it sounds like you and is in line with your personality and your thought processes. I laugh because I have always written in listicles, and since 2015, knowing the rule that was on Facebook at the time, which is we'll read 7 lines of text if the 7 lines of text are split up. So it was like 1, 3, 1 with 2 lines of 2 lines of white in between, white space, dead space in between there. So adjusting my writing style to know that, because I've been working in social for forever. If you yeah, God, it does. If you think about it, it's like the psychology of how people actually read content. They will read 8 lines, 9 lines of text if that text block is split up into different lines of text. Grammatically, it does not make sense, and it goes against everything you learn in school. But the best way that I can tell you how to break up those lines of text is where that person would take a natural breath. That's where you add a space, a white space in there. Right. So it's like, okay, this person's talking. I can hear them talk. And I know not everybody can hear other people talking in their head. Welcome to my brain.
You got voices in your head, huh?
You know I do. It's like, we have been together a really long time. I know this. Always cracks me up when I think about the conversation we had not too long ago, where I was like, you don't have like stuff in your head all the time, just like music playing in the background, and there's a monkey over here, like with a. No. You're like, no. Like, oh, all right then. Anyway, so yeah, where they would take a natural breath is where you're going to split that up, and AI seems to do that unerringly, and so you'll see that a lot, and people then complain, oh, I'm tired of reading. And then freaking skip past that person's content. Quit complaining about it. It's just something for you to complain about. But again, AI likes that structure. AI likes to be able to easy to read, right? Maybe AI is lazy too. But that's one of the ways that content is discoverable. And then, list-based content works because it's structured, right? We talked about it has structure. It has a topic, it has main claims, then you have, individual recommendations, and it's easy to see the relationship between the ideas. Think about a 5-paragraph essay. When I write content for clients, I still use the same methodology that I used in radio, which is you have your opening statement, you have your 3 supporting statements, and then you have to get the hell out, right? And that's how I learned how to write segments for radio, because you have 30 to 45 seconds to say something profound or witty or impactful. You don't have a lot of time, and the better you are at it, the more that the radio stations and their stupid consultants are like, you said that in 22 seconds. You need to say it in 19. Like, oh my God, are you freaking kidding me? Anyway, sorry, tangent about that. But it's the same thought process and idea, right? Like, you need to have a good hook. You need to have a good opening statement. Bless you. You dying over there? Are you dying?
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, something came up. I don't know.
Anyway, so it's the same process. DB says vague should only be used to have someone follow up with a question, just enough for curiosity. Then you can explain it. Yeah. As long as you remember that everyone you see will not be a client. You just need someone who has a real interest to want clarification.
True.
I love it, DB. So your structure of your content makes it easier for a agentic search to understand. And your expertise makes it easy for AI to understand. And then both of those things, the structure and the expertise, get picked up in agentic search.
Yeah, definitely.
One of the mistakes about that we see often is people want to chase virality. They want to make me go viral. That's all well and good, but you reached 100,000 people. Okay, fabulous. That's great. Were they your target audience? 100,000 people who is not your target audience is not going to help you.
Right. Are they going to do any business with you? Bottom line, what are you trying to accomplish? Right? Are you trying to accomplish virality, or are you trying to make a deal?
Transact.
Right?
Yeah. And then the other mistake is posting random topics. If your content's all over the place, you're not giving agentic search the opportunity to say, okay, this person talks about this and this and this. And when we're talking about LinkedIn came out and said that they want content to, because it's an LLM with thought authority. What are the subjects that you talk about on a regular basis, right? I don't talk about, I do talk about family, but like I just did a post, George, wow, that almost came out wrong. George Bovelan sent me a cute little message via DM on LinkedIn. I asked him if I could screenshot it because he called me the fairy godmother, which immediately made me think of my children in a story from years ago. I was in the kitchen with my oldest daughter, and she was hugging me, and she's like, oh, you're like a fairy godmother. And I was like, oh, that's great. I'm magical and mystical and magnificent. And she's like, no, you're soft and squishy. And then my son, who was about 4 at the time, yells out because we had this big giant island, and he's like, "Your butt's not too big for me." I was like,
well then, thank you.
kids,
It's a
love them.
compliment. It's a
Thank you
compliment.
so much. I'm soft and squishy, and I have a big ass. This is good times. Anyway, it makes me laugh though. But I shared that story because it made me laugh. It made me think about that. Is that exactly in my wheelhouse? Nah, probably not, because I don't share a lot of family on LinkedIn, but it's still, it's still kind of business related. Is that going to get picked up? Probably not. It's probably not going to get picked up at all, because it's kind of a random topic. You shouldn't be ignoring your website. I know Hector and I hammer on this all the time, but you really, really need to take a look at your website if it hasn't been updated in the last year. And yes, we know some of you haven't updated your websites in like 5 years. So in the last year, who you are, what you do, who you serve, your services. You have to make it super crystal clear for people to be able to understand exactly what it is that you do. It's the same thing we talk about LinkedIn with your headline. What do you do? Who do you serve? Right? If people can't understand it within the first 7 seconds of getting on your website or even landing on your LinkedIn profile, they're like, I don't know.
Go.
This is too much. And also make sure that your contact information is super easy to find, right?
Yes.
Please. That is one of the biggest gripes I have, is like, how do I contact you? Well, it's in the footer. I'm lazy. I don't want to have to scroll all the way down to the footer to get to your contact. Just put a contact button up at the top. Anyway.
Well, and those call to action buttons, those are extremely important. I know that sometimes people feel like, oh, that's a little too pushy, or that's a little too salesy. You're not. The purpose of your website is to make sales. It is to make contacts. And if you're not giving the individual, the person, the opportunity to contact you or to get more information or whatever, you're losing them. Those call to action buttons are extremely important. You should have them throughout your website. It's not just up at the top and down at the footer. It should be sprinkled throughout strategically, right? You don't want them at every single line, but you want them like and easy to see, easy to find. One of the things that does drive me a little nutty are those pop-ups. Those are kind of annoying. And so when we work with clients, some clients like them, some clients don't. I don't really push on that. That's fine. But the call to action buttons, those are extremely important.
Right. And I mean, I don't mind. So this is where we differ on this thought. I don't mind the pop-up if the pop-up is not like immediately once you get onto the website. That irritates me. Like, I hate. I like the ones that will show up like off to the side and like, hey, have you subscribed? And you've been on the website for maybe like 15, 20 seconds or whatever. It's the ones that immediately, boom, right there. I just got here. I just got here. I haven't even looked at your freaking website, and I'm looking at a pop-up. So
I haven't even met you yet.
I haven't even met yet. Dinner, pulling hair. Anyway.
Right.
The last but not least, the last mistake I want to talk about for today, and we're coming up on time, is if you are failing to build an owned audience. What do I mean by owned audience? Any of these platforms can go away tomorrow. Hell, in this broadcast, this platform could die just right now, right? If you are not building your audience in a way that you can connect with them offline, whether it is via hard mail, whether it is via phone or email, you do not own this audience. Any of the people that you have on social media, they are not your people. They are not your true people, because you don't have a way to connect with them other than social media. And as we saw with TikTok last year, any of the platforms can go at any time.
Definitely. And so, I mean, Facebook's had their issues. They've gone down for a couple of days here and there. Most of the times it's just a few hours, but still, you don't know. Or like Facebook likes to do, your page is now missing.
Yep.
What? What do you
Oh,
mean
and
my
with
missing?
we could do an entire show on that with the Facebook AI going wild. They're shutting down groups with
Yeah.
hundreds of thousands of people in them for no reason. And all they're saying, all the AI is saying is that you have violated community guidelines. And you're like, what community guidelines? And then
And
you're just in this doom loop of AI bullshit that you can't get out of. Again, social media is rented land. You do not own it. So where are you driving people to in this marketing ecosystem? That is either to subscribe to a newsletter, it is some way that you can get in contact with them should these platforms just decide to up and disappear tomorrow.
Right. The CRM is extremely important to this whole process, right? You want to have you want to be able to contact those people. And a CRM in a brokerage is fantastic. It's great. Who owns them? Who owns that CRM? You need to have your own CRM, not just a brokerage CRM.
Yep.
Because again, just like a platform can disappear, so can that position at that brokerage. Nothing is guaranteed. But if you have a CRM that you are building, it's easy to download the contacts from one CRM and upload it to another. It's a couple clicks of a button and you're done.
Right.
Owning those contacts that you've worked hard to get, you did the work. You should own them.
Yeah, 100%. You absolutely need to own your information. And Russell says, in real life is the way people lose their non-accounts too. Yes, they do, 100%. And then DB says, build with them and be sure to get their contact information. Be sure to identify them with some sort of code. And you can do that with CRMs. You can tag people.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing to me how many people shy away from actually using a system like a CRM, or they switch CRMs like they change their underwear because it's not working for them. Well, it's not working for them because you didn't know what you wanted in the first place.
Right, you got to take the time to learn it. That's
yeah.
all.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have.
Okay.
There are some CRMs that I find a little bit clunky, but still, if you learn how to use it, it'll work for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how to use our CRM, but he does. I'm like, I don't care how it works. Just make it work. Are we sending out emails? That's all I care about. Right. All right. So speaking of sending out emails, I have a webinar coming up tomorrow. You can DM either Hector or myself, and we'll send you the link to sign up. It will be broadcast in the school group. You don't need to sign up for school to watch it, correct?
No, you do have to be part of the free side of it so that you can get the link. But yes. Okay.
So we're doing a little something different, but this is going to be all about how to get found on those answer engines and the 3 different things that you need to be doing as part of your marketing to make that happen. So you have your social. We talked about it in the show. Social, earned media, and of course, recommendations and reviews. So I will be going through all of that. Wait, people wear underwear, DB? No, I'm just kidding. That'll be tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific time. If you are interested, again, just go ahead and DM either Hector or myself, and we'll get you the link to sign up and register for that. I'll also be talking about in that presentation, in that webinar, 3 of our clients who are being found via agentic search and what they're doing and why it's important. And so you can actually see exactly how that's working for them. I can't wait to share that with all of you guys. Looking forward to it. Hopefully my ears will unplug by then. I have no idea what's going on. All I know is that my ears plugged up. And it's like I'm hearing through cotton. It's fabulous. I love it so much.
Oh, and then
yeah, on Thursday, get me all drugged up. That's fabulous.
What's coming up on Thursday?
On Thursday, we have Coy Davidson. He will be our special guest talking about Him being the OG of blogging on social and being one of the originals to actually use social to get business, as well as his experiences with CREI Summit. Can't wait to see you guys back here on Thursday. We'll see you then. Bye.
Content strategy, AI on the rise.